Wolves. My name is Xavier Lago. This is Hot Wolves, and I'm here with Christopher Strohmaier and Chad Friesleben, our band directors and marching guys.
Yes.
How'd you guys, just for a kind of icebreaker, how'd you guys get to know each other? When did you guys start gelling together?
Well, that actually goes back quite a long time. We both went to Drake University at the same time. I was a senior, right, when you were a freshman, and we were in the same music fraternity. And so one of my jobs at the time was the person who sort of trained the new guys in. And Mr. Strohmaier was one of the new guys in, and that's the first time. Now, I will say earlier than that, I knew who he was because he played on baseball teams, maybe soccer too, with my brother, my younger brother.
When I was 5, 6.
Yep. So I've known who he was, and then we became classmates at Drake, and then we went our separate ways, and then I was at Waukee doing marching band, and when he came to Waukee, 10 years ago almost, we got knowing each other again.
Explanation, this is a different mode from what we did last time, where we just did I ask questions, I eat a wing, and kind of go with them. This time, they're going to be facing off against each other. They each have a question. They're each going to look at it at the same time. And whoever hits their buzzer first and answers it doesn't have to eat the wing. The other person, unfortunately, still has to answer the question and eat the wing.
Okay.
Think you're ready for that?
Sure.
So if I'm slow, I get to eat the wing? Got it.
Yeah.
Initially, I'm for this plan. We'll see how hot it gets.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, flip the card.
Haha. How long does it take to prepare for the learning process of marching, i.e. putting the click tracks together? Longer than you would think. The click tracks, because of the way that we make them, so if you don't know what that is, we rehearse with recordings of our music set to a metronome, so that it helps the students learn when to move and how to move. And we have sets in our show where people go, and we have a music track that starts at every single set and runs all the way to the end of the movement, basically. So I create the audio file, I create the click track, I have to line them up, and then I have to create the lead in and cut them all based on where our drill writer puts sets. So all told, over the course of a show, I would guess it's probably 4 hours. I would say maybe an hour-ish per movement. Yep.
And what did you get, Mr. Loser?
Wow.
Keep
in mind, we grade you.
Oh.
Right?
Do you prefer jazz or classical music more, and why? And I don't know that I can really answer that one. I think I prefer both of them differently, and it depends on my mood, and it depends on the context. I will say that I play a whole lot more jazz and listen to a whole lot more jazz than I do classical. But really, it depends on my mood.
When would you listen to jazz? What would the mood be?
It's a lot of times I'll throw on something if I'm driving home. Usually more energetic moods, things that are more reflective. I might listen to classical, but it also just kind of depends what I come across. I'll come through something on my on iTunes or wherever, and I haven't listened to that in a while. Click, and that's how it goes.
Well, you got number 2, apple cider.
Okay.
Only a couple thousand skull bells, I believe.
Okay.
And dig right in.
I can do this.
You say that now.
I do say that now.
Mm-hmm. We're nothing if not confident.
Yeah. Initial reaction?
Oh, it's very doable. Oh, no.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay, then we'll move on to number 3.
Better be at this level.
Number 3, which is 124,000 Scoville, Mango Habanero.
There we go.
Yeah. Ready? 3, 2, 1, flip the card.
All right.
Question.
What is something that you regret not doing when you were young? And I would say, I don't know that I have a specific instance, but the things that I always tend to regret really are the things that I don't do. When I opt not to do something because I'm tired, because I'm whatever, just don't want to do it. Those are the things that I typically regret not doing. So I don't know that I have a specific answer for that, but that's that's when those would be.
Is there something you have specifically, or are you on the same boat?
For that question?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, well, I guess I have two. One is something that I've regretted for a long time. I never marched drum corps. And it was something that I wanted to do when I was very young, because I've been into drum corps since I was a very young kid, and always kind of wanted to do it. But when the time came, when I was in upper high school and graduating, I decided to pursue my singing career more, and sort of left that behind. And now looking back on it, I always wish that I had marched somewhere. Yeah, the other one is gotten into band directing sooner.
Yeah.
So because I've only recently started doing this full time, and I had mentors of mine who told me very early on, you should be a band director, and I went as a choir director instead.
What was the question you got?
My question was, what's the difference between being a drum major and being a director? I guess if you're talking from a student's perspective, a drum major is someone who is a leader. It's someone who the students look up to. They have to be massively organized. They have to think ahead. It is a huge, huge role. Being a director, from a student, if you're just conducting, you're just beating time so people know where to go. But it doesn't involve a lot of the off-the-field stuff. So drum majoring is a huge job, and it just takes a lot of responsibility.
Get that wing.
All right. So
I want to try that one too.
Oh. I'd say that one was really good last time that I had it.
Before it gets too hot, I'll try it.
These are more artisan, I'd say.
Yeah.
At least at the lower level.
These are about with stuff that we eat kind of on a regular basis.
Man, that's a good call.
I wish there was a little bit more sweetness to go with it, because it was there, kind of a hint at the beginning, and then it sort of disappeared. Look at me being all gourmet about my wings.
Yes. Garlic del Fuego, number 4.
Are these? Do you know if the Scoville scale is exponential?
Don't know.
Okay, I don't either.
I think it's relatively arbitrary, but
All right.
I'm not an expert.
Nor
I'm
I.
just the guy. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Flip that card.
Favorite musical or opera, and why? My favorite musical has always been West Side Story. Leonard Bernstein. The music is genius. I was biased a little bit because I was in that show in high school, and it was that was my senior year musical.
What role did you get?
I was Tony, and I just adore it. On the opera side, I'll give you a second answer. I've always loved Marriage of Figaro, just because Mozart's. It's great. It's funny. It's fun. The music's wonderful. So I enjoy that.
Mine is, what would your last meal be? And that,
Whoa!
I think someone's planning something here.
This went down a dark path.
For me, does it have to be like one thing, or can it be a mix?
It can be like it can be a meal. Yeah, it can be like a mix of things.
Okay. Well, barbecue would be my go-to. I love me some barbecue, some nice brisket, maybe a little mac and cheese, some beans, good garlic bread, any and all of those things. Just fantastic. I'm also a sucker, different direction, for a little buffalo chicken pizza for some dessert. So that's where I'm going. All right. Some garlic del fuego. All right. Let's see what it does.
All right, big boy.
Here we go.
This is band, so we need a drum roll, right?
That's actually not terrible. It comes on right at the beginning. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Then it gets a little warmer.
Yeah.
You want to try it too?
I'm actually a little interested in it. Yes. Okay.
You're good, man.
I don't buy that that's 3 times as spicy as these two. I absolutely don't.
See, that's why I think it's arbitrary. I don't think it's like, do they have a guy be like, yep, that's 493 rather than 492? Like,
well, and like the other flavors too. The mango might have a different than garlic. So this is good. I don't know if
it doesn't strike me as super
hit
hot.
me. It
No.
didn't like. So
No, the first one was almost the hottest one
Really?
of the 3.
well, 4 goes to 5. This one is 7,910 Scoville. It is the fiery cayenne hot sauce, Loco Larry. Cards? Ready?
Cards.
3, 2, 1. Ooh. Fast.
If you could be any animal, what would you be and why? If I could be any animal, I would definitely be a hawk.
A hawk.
I would be a hawk. I love. They're big. They're powerful. They're solitary.
Is it because you're not very tall?
Yes, it's also that. But they sit up on very tall things.
Ah, yeah.
So you can kind of see everything. Just fly. Anything flying, I'm all about. So I'm going to go with a hawk.
A hawk. You?
That was my question, too. I don't really know how to answer that. I mean, I guess I would say, we have 2 cats at home, and both of those cats do nothing but sit around and judge people. So, kind of like that life.
Yeah.
Just sit on the
Kinda
couch
has that life.
and judge that. Yeah, it's true. Ooh. I might regret that, poor.
All right, I'm going to give that one a go, too.
What was this called?
Join in the party.
This is Fiery Cayenne.
Cayenne.
Loco Larry.
Thoughts, opinions?
That's a little warmer.
It
A little
is.
more vinegary.
Yeah, that one's set in kind of what you were talking about with the other one. That's what I experienced here because I didn't experience that with the garlic one. There's definitely more heat on this one.
We're still in the range of what I would eat, though.
Yeah.
Side note: what's interesting about this is that when Strohmaier and I go out, after band events or whatever, we will frequently both order wings because we love wings. So that's why I jumped so quickly when you said you want to do this. I said,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm in."
Yeah.
Yeah, you're cleaning the plate already.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Best DCI show of all time.
Let me guess, Phantom Regiment.
Do you know the year?
2009.
8.
Ooh, that was close. Very close.
Yeah, that's actually not my favorite Phantom Regiment show, but it's close and it's a wonderful show. That's such a hard. As I'm saying it, I'm thinking about Santa Clara, Babylon show. Gosh, there's just so many. But I'm going to stick with Spartacus in 2008 Phantom Regiment.
Mine was how does music shape a personality, which is that goes pretty deep. I mean, it shapes a personality because I think it gives you. There's something that music does in your mind that it opens up your mind to things. It causes you to think about things in a different way. It makes connections between things that you don't necessarily make. I think it also, in the preparation as you are a musician, it also teaches you to be exacting with things. It teaches you how to work with other people. It teaches you how to be democratic in an ensemble. I mean, there are so many things that music can teach you, either as a listener or as a performer.
Makes you stick with. I mean, rarely are you going to pick up something and be amazing at it initially, and so you have to stick with it, and you have to go through the rough times when you maybe don't sound so great when you're working on something. There's just a ton of things that music teaches you, and it shapes you. Interesting story. Just tonight, we were sitting talking with a gentleman on the track at the homecoming assembly who talked about his son when he was in high school. Had been an athlete and then decided to focus more on choir, and that when his son went into choir, it's kind of shaped who he was as a person, his whole approach and personality. And we see that all the time in what we do. Yeah. Well, and it's a lifelong pursuit.
Yeah.
I mean, as performing musicians or people who just play music, you're never there. You're always trying to get there.
Yeah, people will talk about it being very much like driving down the road at night. And you can know that the road goes on for miles, but you can only see as far as your headlights go. And for your world, that's really all that exists. And as you get better, the road doesn't get any shorter. It's just you can see a different part of it. So, all right, am I up here?
Yeah, read that off for us.
Number 6, Extreme Habanero, 8740. I don't know what this last one was.
7.
7910.
Not too big of a jump.
No. All right. Let's see what this one does. Number 6.
Yeah. Ooh.
Be a little more judicious with this one.
Did you have a favorite DCI show?
Spartacus is really good. But beyond that, no, I don't know that I do. There are a number of shows that I've really enjoyed, but I don't know that I would have a favorite.
Part of my fandom is I grew up with the Phantom Regiment. My whole family's from Rockford, and so that's when I told you I got into drum corps very young. It's from seeing the Phantom Regiment when I was just like 5. I was a little boy, so I'm a little biased toward them.
Yeah.
Generally.
Just a little.
So how is it, champ?
A lot like that one.
Go ahead.
I had to try a little bit more because I couldn't tell if it was this one overpowering this one. But
There does come a point where sometimes it's less flavor and
Yeah.
just the heat.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's what I don't enjoy.
Speaking of heat, number 7 is our next one. Ghost pepper hot sauce. It's 11,300.
Oh, that's a jump.
Yeah, that's a significant chunk.
All right.
Ready? Flip that card.
All right. What would you do, or what would you be doing if you didn't do band? And if I didn't do band, I would probably be in either I would be in some kind of design or in some kind of medicine. When I was going through school, I was kind of on the fence, moving back and forth between a lot of things, and I did some interning and some work, kind of going down a medical road, and like this could be cool. I also then did parallel time some design, particularly around audio design and audio engineering, building acoustical spaces, how sound interacts with the physical space, and how it changes your mood and the way you feel when you walk into a particular space. It's a fascinating field to get into, and I think that would have been a really fun thing to do.
Cool.
You?
Well, my question was, what would you be if you weren't a band teacher? And for me, that's because this is essentially my third career. I mean, I was a music teacher, but I was a choir teacher, and then I was a lawyer, and then I kind of went into writing because I worked basically just writing marching band shows, drum corps shows, and now I'm back doing this. So I've already done a few other things. But if all of a sudden the world of band were pulled from me and I had to choose something completely different that I hadn't done, I do love art. I mean, a lot of the graphic design for the shows I like to do just because I like to create art. So I could see myself doing some level of graphic design. All right. Ghost pepper?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Good luck. I don't see the steam coming out of the ears yet.
I'm kind of waiting. I mean, I can feel it there, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Not crazy.
No, it's actually not that bad.
Handling like a champ.
All right, now
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Honestly, I think this is the one. The Fiery Cayenne number 5 is the one that's hit me the hardest. No, I haven't tried this one yet.
I'm very self-conscious of how awful I look while eating this.
Yeah, I'll get tons of close-ups. Don't worry.
Great, thanks.
All the sounds. You're the closest to the microphone too.
Yeah, that's not as bad as I was thinking it would be.
Number 8, Phantom Buffalo, Phantom Regiment. 200. Oh, not 200. Jeez. 20,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready? Flip that card.
How has high school changed? What was it like then?
Way back then.
Well, back in the 90s, when we didn't have electricity. Obviously, there's the really easy questions, which are we didn't have cell phones. The internet was not a thing. If we wanted to research something, we had to go to the library and open up encyclopedias or find some microfiche at the local, library. Then there's also the climate change of education, the reality of what we have to deal with in terms of school safety, the drills that we do, the lockdown procedures. It was something that was never a part of our kind of existence when we were in high school. The other thing is, I think, and this is probably related a little bit to the cell phone thing and the internet, is I think that I won't call it naivete, but I think students were a little bit less world aware. I mean, I was always very, like, I read the news, I was always very aware of that stuff, but it wasn't, there's almost kind of a cynicism that is over a lot of students because all the information on the world and the anxiety that comes with that is right there all the time. And so maybe it was just a little bit more innocent at the time, I might say. Yeah.
I had basically the same question, and I agree with all of that. But things were, the access to information just wasn't there. You know, if I wanted to listen to something, I had to go down to Barnes & Noble or Borders and buy a CD. You know, when I started, in middle school, I was buying cassettes. You know, I can remember the first cassettes that I had, and then when I started getting CDs, the first CDs, and you put them in these big books where you put pages with 4 CDs in them, and
we still have those
about yay big, and that's what you take everywhere. And you'd have the CD player in the car, and you change them in, or you'd have the Discman. And
if you were lucky enough to have a CD changer in your car, and you could have 6 CDs, that was like amazing.
Yep, one of my best friends in high school, he got that 6 CD changer in the trunk, and it was like he was it. But there is also, I think now because there's so much available, we tend a little bit towards there's an oversaturation of information sometimes, and because I can get online, you talking about jazz, I can get online and listen to anything that I want. Yeah. There is a much broader but a much more superficial understanding. When I was going through high school, like I had to go out and buy a CD, and I had 1 CD. And so I listened to that all the time, and I got to know it incredibly well. And then once I'd saved up some money, I'd go out and buy another CD, and now I have 2, and I've listened to it all the time. Now with YouTube or with Spotify or any of these, you can listen to a million things, and because there's so much out there, you don't listen to
keep talking. Yeah,
you don't listen to anything for very long, or you don't have to, I should say.
Everything's so much more topical. You know, there's obviously the issue too. We all know social media, and we see this in students. I do. You know, that students are oftentimes more concerned about not how they are or what they are learning, but how it appears to others that they are, or appears to others that they are learning, which is to me a phenomenon of social media.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
I had a detachable face on my aftermarket radio, so I could take it off. So it would be useless if someone tried to steal mine.
The other thing that was so different then than now, and it's not exactly school, but like if we wanted to go somewhere, we had to look up in the phone book what the address was and get onto MapQuest and look it up and then print out the MapQuest sheet, and then you've got all of these things, and then you follow it. You know, that you couldn't just get on the phone and go over to your friend's house. You know, you had to actually like print it out on the dot matrix printer where you pull the sides off of.
No. Have you ever seen a dot matrix printer?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
On the TV.
Yeah, right.
Not in person.
Right. So.
Warmer than this, but not bad. This is one where there's more flavor than just heat.
Buffalo flavor?
Yeah, there's some buffalo.
I would imagine.
Some buffalo flavor in that.
Well, I know you're trying to conserve. I'm interested in trying that. I know you're trying to conserve wings, so I will refrain.
Ready? 3, 2, flip. Ooh.
All right. And so this is who was the most formative person on your music teaching career? And I've got 3, and they came from kind of 3 different areas of my life. The first was my mom. And she was the one who really got me started in music, and the way that she looks at everything. She was not a teacher, but she's very much that sort. And so she raised me with an inquisitive mind, and showed me and instilled in me what I feel is a very good way, methodical way to learn things. The second one that I suspect we might have in common was the gentleman that I student taught with. His name was Tony Garmo. And Tony taught for a long time at Valley High School, and really helped show me what it was to be a high school teacher. If there is a Mount Rushmore of Iowa band directors, he's up there. He's one of those guys. And so he would be number 2, and then the third was my college band director at Drake University, Bob Meunier. And Bob is just fantastic, a consummate musician, and one of those guys who can just look at you and say 2 words, and you feel this big or this small, just with the way that he approaches things. So those are my 3. I know I said 1, but I went 3.
Well, if you went 3, I'm going to go 2. And for me, he's right. Because I went to Valley, I was very lucky in that at the time at Valley, we had very high-achieving both bands and choirs. And my high school choir director was a gentleman named Ray Saluka. And Ray was a driven perfectionist and kind of for the first time got me to be critical about music and to think about it in a more sort of analytical way. And really, he's just absolutely passionate about it. And he was the one who made me go, I think I want to teach that. I think I want to be that. Now, ultimately, obviously, I switched to band, and the other one is Tony Garmo, because Tony was my high school band director at Valley. And he and another band director at the time were the ones that told me, when I told them I was going to college to major in music on the vocal side, you feel to us like you might be more of a band director. And I said, no, I'm going to go do the choir thing. And there's parts about choir teaching that I liked, but I very much like what I'm doing now more than any other teaching that I've done. So those were my 2 right there.
Very formal. It's an art.
I'm definitely feeling this on the lips after all of these.
Oh, yeah. Took your first swig of water.
Yep.
Same in that there's more heat to it than the others.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of flavor. I'm not getting as much flavor. Maybe
Okay.
It feels more vinegary. Like maybe it's just the difference in our palates, but it's a little bitter. So
I can see a little bitter on there.
but it's fine.
No.
Yeah, so this is the Holy Brain Killer from before. Number 9, 25,000 Scoville.
Yeah, it is definitely setting in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was a delayed
Yeah.
burn, and I mean that word, burn. Yeah, my eyes are watering a little bit here.
Don't touch your eyes. Don't touch your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Ready for the question?
Oh, sure.
Why the Chicago Cubs? The real answer is because I grew up watching the Iowa Cubs when I was a little kid, and the Knothole Gang, which was the thing for the kids could come, and this was back before they'd remodeled Sec Taylor Stadium, and you'd go and you'd stand behind the wooden bleachers and kind of peek through the wall, and everybody would come sign autographs. So ever since then, I've been a Cubs fan, though it maybe was not the best choice of teams, but yeah, I've always loved the Cubs.
How many World Series have you won in the last 30 years?
Just the one.
Right. That would be one more than us.
Yeah. Favorite player, my all-time favorite player is Ryan Sandberg. Gotta love Rhino. But also a big Derek Lee and a big Anthony Rizzo guy. So.
You mean the Yankees, Anthony Rizzo?
Nah.
Mine is why the Minnesota Twins and favorite player. So the why the Twins is an easy question. My parents divorced in the mid '80s, and my dad moved to Minneapolis, and so that I was 9, 10 at the time, and my little brother and I would go up and spend summers with my dad. Not all summers, but we'd spend weeks at a time up there, and we went to a ton of games. He would take us to Twins games. He'd take us to the Minnesota Strikers, which was an indoor soccer league, which is also why I like soccer probably as much as I do. And we'd go see the Minnesota North Stars. So the Minnesota culture, the Vikings, all of it just kind of sat in because I was spending a ton of time in Minnesota. And now as an adult, I went up there obviously for law school and lived up there for a time. I love the state. It is, I have political and artistic reasons that I like it. Excuse me. But it's just gorgeous. Like up in the North Woods, we used to do, when I taught at a school up there, Irondale, we'd do band camp in Bemidji. And Bemidji's just gorgeous. So that's why the Twins. Favorite player, it's fun. Everybody loved Kirby Puckett. And I loved Kirby Puckett too. But honestly, my favorite player was one who was actually playing when I was more of an adult, which is Joe Mauer. I just loved how he went about the game. I loved how he handled himself, how humble he was, what a hard worker he was, how he led by example. He stood for everything that I think a leader should be. And so I'm a big Joe Mauer Bobo. All right. I'm not looking forward to this. This is where I think I might go into the fetal position. I don't want too much of this here. That's all right.
Jinx yourself with that one.
All right.
Ah. Brain fried yet?
I didn't put a ton on it. I mean, it's slowly kind of setting in, and not as fast as I thought the Phantom. You may want to do a little bit more than I did.
Oh, yeah? Well, we'll see about that.
Honestly, for me, the Phantom
Yep.
Buffalo hit me harder than
It
this
did.
last one.
I agree. Phantom Buffalo,
Yeah,
Fiery Giant.
That's
yeah.
still stuck with you.
Those two are the big ones.
Agreed. I think you're right. It's arbitrary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least with these.
Ready for percussions?
Percussion. See, I'm refraining from any stereotypical drummer jokes.
3, 2, 1.
All right. Favorite show you've put together? That's massively hard. I've put together a lot of marching band shows. But I will say I am partial toward Dark Tales from the Grim Forest. Well, for two reasons. One, it's one of the favorite things that I've written. And also because I've done it twice. It's the only marching band show I've ever done 2 times. And I did it obviously 10 years ago at Irondale and then last year here. And it's just, it's fun. I enjoy the music. It's a fun story. So Dark Tales might be my favorite show that I've put together.
And mine is, what is something that a student has said that has stuck with you? And that's you want to be on Hot Wolves.
Oh, yeah.
That has stuck with me. It's stuck with me here and here and here. So really, what the things that stick with me that students say is times where we have helped to either facilitate an experience or create some sort of a personal change, where a student comes back, and usually it's either right at graduation or a lot of times several years after the fact, where they come back and they reference, hey, you remember when we did this thing? That was one of the best experiences of my high school career. And there have been any number of things that we've done, whether they're marching band trips or jazz band concerts or any of those things that students talk about, and that really sticks with me, that the little impacts that you can have along the way.
One of the things that I really enjoy about what we teach is that for many teachers, they will get a student, one time, maybe, 2, at most 3, but we stick with students often throughout their entire high school career.
Yeah.
And so we really are able to build relationships with them and help them kind of along the path significantly and help them grow in what we do. And it's very impactful because students often, we see kids, we've taught long enough now that we've got all of the past students have kids, and they still come back. And so I loved this, or I remember this show, it was so fun, or thank you, it was the most impactful thing I did in high school, which I've heard you probably have too.
Yep.
So love that stuff.
All right, so this one is peach ghost pepper hot sauce. And no, I don't think there's going to be a lot of peach in it. It is the same Scoville as the last one. So we will see. I do like peach things, so we'll see.
So like Mario Kart,
So peaches.
Yes.
Coat the wet sprocket.
Oh, yeah.
James and his giant peach.
Yeah. Great movie.
Wow.
I've not actually seen the movie.
There's actually a lot of peach in that.
Really?
Yeah.
Made
I
for
was
you.
speculating that there was not going to be.
Me too. not just at the. I mean, it's hot later, but it was a lot of peach up front. But the peach actually continues. That's not bad. If I wanted something that was really hot, I could get with that.
But not
So
hotter.
it's enjoyable. It's
Yeah.
not just
Yes.
burn your face in.
Yes.
Is it hotter than these two?
It might be. It's
Hotter-
hotter, it's hotter than this one. I'm not sure about that.
Hotter than this one? Number 9?
Yeah. No. It's the same. I like it better than number 9.
And for these last two, since you've tried them all, and you were so gracious in telling me which ones hurt you the most, you're actually going to be mixing the two, I guess, 3 hottest ones, and having a fun,
Fun?
swirl. Yeah, fun. Yeah,
Fun.
Yeah.
You keep using that word.
Yeah.
I do not think it means what you think it means.
Okay. This one is start, and then maybe it's culminating.
there now?
But it's there now.
All right, you can do
I
it.
can
buddy.
do it.
Okay, this is, I think, guard.
Yep.
Guard,
Yep.
yeah.
Ready? Flip that card. Whew.
What is something you want to see happen with the Royal Brigade in the next few years? I love that we have been able to have incredibly unique experiences with the group, going to March in the Rose Parade 3 years ago, going to Ireland with the band here this coming year. I love that we're able to do that. And I want to see us continue to provide those kind of experiences, things that are unique to this program, things that you can't do other places. You know, there's a lot of every band goes on trips, and there's a lot of those trips that the band trips are always great, but there are things that are unique that we've been able to do, and I want to continue to do those kind of once in a lifetime kind of things.
Yep. I agree with that. I had the same question here. And I think there's 2 things. One, since it came from the Guard, I was like, we want to grow our Guard. The people we have in the Guard are great, and they do a fantastic job. I think our coach is wonderful, Audrey, and Jocelyn, who do wonderful things. They're good performers. What I would like to see is a Guard 2 to 3 times the size. So building up the size of the Guard, I think, is something I'd like to see. The other thing is kind of where we've already been. I like doing shows that are entertaining, and I like doing shows that are unique. This year, we did a kind of a stock show, which is not unusual. Bands do that all the time. But we took a unique spin. The way that it had been presented by most of the other bands that I was aware of who'd done this show was totally different than how we went about doing it. And so I like being unique. I like doing fun and interesting things. I want to be the band that when an audience member watches, they go, "Did you see what Northwest did? That was really cool." And that's some of the experience that I used to have with my Minnesota band, where we would do a show, and years later, someone would say, "Oh, you guys did the 7 Deadly Sin show. It was amazing." Or you guys did the whatever show. So that's what I would like to see happen. So you want this to be an amalgam?
Amalgamation, yeah, that was the word.
Okay. So I'm going to have to
I can smell the peach from that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, and I
Yeah.
haven't tried the peach.
You should try the peach if you can.
Well, it's too late.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So tiny.
It occurs to me, someone should tell my children if I don't make it. Ooh.
Well, there's some peach.
Here we go. I guess I'm
Yeah,
going to...
yeah.
You got this.
All right. Oh, you're right about the peach.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's right there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This whole area just smells like peach. Like,
Yeah.
on my hands.
Don't touch your eyes.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to set in.
Uh-huh.
We don't usually battle each other. We're more supportive.
More of some,
Yeah.
yeah.
We kind of share a brain in that we think the same way. Yeah, I don't know if it's just like the amount I put on it, because I just put a little bit of each of the
Yep.
3, and it's I think you get to a point with spice
Yeah.
It's,
where it's spicy, it's just hot, and it's like it doesn't get worse. It's like if you're on fire, you're burning.
Right.
You're not gonna. Oh, I'm more on fire than I was before. It's good.
you talked about the guard earlier. What number, like, you said double, but what number does that actually like mean? Like what number?
Well, double means you take the number you have times 2. Oh. It's hard to put a number on that, honestly, because every school has the way that they do band, the way it's set up in their school, the way that they recruit, the external forces that cause people to do or not do band are different. And for us, we face some of those challenges too. For kids that who don't play an instrument, to be able to find a spot in their schedule every year to devote a term to marching band, is difficult for kids who don't already have it in their schedule. I don't have a number. Honestly, what I like is the ability to be, in the way I design shows, to be free to use them for color and various layers. One of the things that we do is layering, where you have one group doing something and another group coming in doing something else kind of at the same time and layering in and out. When you have a small guard, you're limited to that because, if you only have 9 or 10, you can't really layer much because you can't have, when you've got a lot of people on the field with flags, that can be very impactful. Mr. Strohmaier and I went to Grand National Championships a couple years ago in Indianapolis, and some of these bands had, I'm not kidding you, 60, 70 guard out there, and filling the field with these double flags, and it's just a powerful impression of color and expression. And so I guess ideally I'd love to see us get up above 20. That to me, 24 might be a number, but I mean, I wouldn't turn down 30.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, flip.
Oh, this is right.
Oh.
You wanna go first?
Drum majors.
Ooh.
The reason I go with the drum majors is because the kids, as we talked about, what a huge responsibility is. It's always at the beginning of being a drum major. You have to transfer from thinking about taking care of yourself to thinking about everybody else all the time. And we always tell drum majors that one of the things that I'd like to see you get to is being able to anticipate what we need as directors kind of before we need it. And there's always that point where they start to figure that out, and they are there. But the amount of time, effort, energy, camps that they go to, and when you think about it, what do they get out of doing that? A heck of a lot of work, but for me, I was a drum major in high school, and it was very formative for me, and I hope it is for them too. So I'm going to pick the drum majors as my favorite.
Yep, I would agree with that 100%.
You're going to go trumpets, aren't you?
Of course.
Okay, yeah.
Of course I'm going to do with the trumpets.
Sorry, altos.
The more esoteric answer is the section that has currently made the most progress. But it often is changing because there'll be a section that struggles with something, and then they start to get it, and I love that. And that's the section, so it changes a lot. But no, it's the trumpets. It's obviously the trumpets. That was the correct answer.
Ding ding.
Fine, I'm going to say altos are in there too. Come on, altos. I had that, funny you talk about that, watching a section get it. We had a little bit of that experience in Jazz Lab last year, in particular with our trumpet section. And there was a point in the year where they started to get it, and it ended up being a great trumpet section, but it started out a little rocky,
Because the trumpets are the best section.
That's right. Yeah.
It was the rest of the band.
It's all the pressure on the brain and tight little embouchure.
All right.
Do you have a favorite section in choir?
No.
No.
No, I mean, I was a tenor most of my high school career, switched to bass baritone in college, and no.
No.
Maybe it would depend on who I was, dating when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So.
How's the
They're
amount?
usually sopranos when I think about it. Oh, I went to prom with an alto. Never mind.
For me, those two almost get lost in the peach.
In the peach.
Because the peach is so strong,
overpowering, yeah.
and then
Yeah, that's right. This gets lost a little bit. I still got a little of that.
I did too.
Yeah.
But the peach is so strong, and then this one is so much hotter than the others. So you get the peach on the front, and then you get all the heat on the back. Excuse me.
All right.
So what do you guys think? Which one, if you can remember, put these in order, hottest.
Hottest?
Yeah, hottest to mildest. Once it gets to mild, you can put in like which one tastes better.
Well, the ghost pepper. No, the ghost pepper was not. You know,
I still think it was these three.
Yeah, this one still to me, the peach though, it's hard because the peach you got so much of the peach, and I don't know how much of that was heat and flavor. So it's one of those two, and then I might go 1, 2, 3.
I would go 1, 2, 3, and then I would put this one at 4.
That's one I didn't try because we were running low on wings, I think. Then after that, they were just fine.
I like the mango habanero a lot because it had nice sweetness.
The first couple were just fine. So I mean, those were the big dogs, I think.
Tell the school what's going on.
Well, there's a national organization called Bands of America, which is a music support group. It's not just marching band, but different bands, choirs, orchestra, music for all is the umbrella organization. But they have a marching band wing, Bands of America, and they host and sponsor competitions throughout the country. Regionals they're called, and then they culminate with Grand National Championships in Indianapolis in the second week of November. We are the hosts and have been now for this will be the 3rd year of the BOA Iowa Regional. When our first year at Northwest, it was at UNI up in Cedar Falls, and we went there, and they were looking for a better venue and asked us to host. So this next Saturday, the thing about BOA is the level of feedback for the bands is at a very high level, and the quality of the bands usually that participate is also quite high. So for our band students, this is going to be the highest level of competition they're going to see in any of the competitions we go to. We have bands coming here from 7 states. I believe there's 22 bands on the roster. Each band performs throughout the day, and then the top 12 bands advance until night finals. And we've been a finalist the last few years, so fingers crossed we'll make finals. But there's no shame in not making finals at BOA because the level of bands is crazy usually. So I love it. I always want to play with the best. So I would much rather take my punches working with the fantastic bands and see what happens. So that is next Saturday, and the proceeds from concessions and a lot of that comes to support the band program, which allows us to do things like go to Ireland and to have amazing props for our shows and do that sort of thing. So next Saturday, the 28th, remember what time the first band starts?
9 o'clock.
It's around 9.
Yeah.
And then they pretty much run all day.
Deep enough. That's going to be incredibly impressive, but it's going to take every single one of you. Skip ahead in the show, please, to set 17.
Wait. You ready, Toby?
Oh yeah, we're so ready. We're gonna dominate this competition.
Is this your second year doing this?
Yes, it is. This will be my second year marching tenor saxophone.
What was different from last year than this year?
This year I'm a section captain, which means as opposed to learning how to march tenor, I'm teaching marching tenor.
How do you remain focused for more than 2 hours? It can be a really long time for some students.
Water. For me, it's not really a matter of staying focused. Usually I find things to think about or to improve upon, and that keeps me busy. So.
Sorry, I'm trying to get it. Go.
How'd the run go?
That was the best run I've ever had. Obviously there were some mistakes. Costume change, came out late. That was my partner's fault though, so.
Did you catch up?
Yeah, we did catch up.
How'd that run go?
I thought it went fine. I give it about 50-50 that we make finals, something that we can do better. I think the general effect of our show is really cool. I just think we need to have people set up their props correctly, and really, I think after this we need to really rehearse that and be thinking about if we make finals, getting the props out, getting them out on time. And yeah, I think that'll be the best part of our show.
gave their all and truly represents the best of what marching band and music education are all about. With our drum majors here before you, if you've enjoyed what you sing today, now is the perfect time to stand up and let them know.
What do you think about the results?
I don't know. I've never had any experience with this, so I don't have anything to base it off of. But what everyone's been saying is that this is not good, and I will agree with that.
Thank you. What do you think about the results?
I mean, the results are disappointing, but like, also the Midwest marching bands are insane, so it's just, we tried our hardest and it just didn't succeed. But like, there's no way we're like last place, so it's just like, keep that in mind for people.
Really have the definition of our total orientation to relation to Strohmaier, really strong with the step out, critical toss. It's a little more information, 40-yard line inside 2 of the field. The color guard. Yeah. A few, just how we're going to have horns up and horns down. Yeah, and friends, as we start going through the tempo.
Strategically throughout the show where we have had issues with that timing, whether it be because of placement on the field or because of not focusing on finding hands.
While we may not have gotten the place we wanted at BOA, we're fired up for the Pella Marching Dutch Invitational this Saturday, October 5th. Come support your Northwest Warrior Brigade at 9 p.m. at Pella Christian High School.